Hi, welcome to Friday Folktales with Rohini. A Favourable Time, a folktale from Tamilnadu. Long ago, there was a king. He was sitting with his minister on the terrace and was discussing various problems. The discussion was about the superiority of willpower over the circumstances. The king was of the opinion that a man could do everything by his efforts. If a man decided to do something, he can do it. But the minister did not agree with the king. The minister was of the opinion that time also should be favorable, and the right time is the time when a man can achieve things. When both of them were thus talking, they saw a poor man passing that way. He was selling cotton. The king pointed to the poor man and told the minister that he would make that man rich in 1 month's time. He called the poor man, gave him 500 rupees, and asked him to boost up his business. The minister, however, said, "With this money alone, my king, the poor man cannot become rich. He must also have luck with him. He should have a favorable time." When the poor man got 500 rupees, his happiness knew no bounds. He took out 10 rupees and the rest of the money he tied in a dirty piece of cloth and kept on his head. With the 10 rupees, he bought some cotton and some eatables. Suddenly, an eagle came and wanted to snatch the eatables, but failing to get the eatables, it took the dirty piece of cloth from his head and flew away. When the poor man reached home, he told everything to his wife, and again he started passing his days in poverty. After a few days, the king and the minister went to the poor man's place to find out what he had done with that money. The poor man narrated what had happened. The king was surprised. He gave him another 500 rupees and asked him to do business with more care. The minister again reminded the king that favorable time and luck should come to the poor man to become rich. The poor man took the money and kept it very carefully. He did not even tell his wife about it. He kept it in a pot containing husk. He went to the market one day. At that time, a man came to his house to buy some husk from him. The poor man's wife thought that as they were collecting husk for a long time, it would be good if she sold it off and utilized the money for some purpose. She bought out the pot and kept it in front of the customer. As the man had not bought any vessel or basket to carry the husk, he told her to give the husk along with the pot. He was ready to pay extra money for the pot as well. The lady was very happy. She gave the buyer the pot and the husk. The man took it to the market and wanted to sell it. But as the husk was very, very old, it could not be sold. So the man just kept the pot in a corner of his house and forgot all about it. Now, when the poor man returned from the market, he searched for the pot, but failing to find it there, he asked his wife for it. His wife told him that she had sold it to a man who had come to buy husk from her for a few hours before. The poor man, wringing his hands in utter despair, told his wife that he had kept 500 rupees which he had received from the king a second time in that very pot. The wife felt very, very sorry and blamed her husband for not telling her about it before. Again, they started passing their days as before in poverty. Again, the king and the minister came to the poor man's house. The poor man told the king everything that had happened. The king realized that what the minister had said was slowly coming true every time. The minister then picked up a nut and gave it to the poor man, saying that if he was fortunate enough, he would become a rich man with the help of that iron nut. Both the king and the minister went back to the palace. That night, a fisherman was inspecting his net for using it the next day. But one iron nut was missing from the net, and as he could not find it anywhere, he went to buy one. He went on asking each and every one, but he could not get it anywhere. Finally, he came to the poor man's house and asked him. Now the poor man quickly gave the iron nut to the fisherman. The fisherman felt very happy and said, "As you have helped me at the right time, I shall give you the first fish that will be caught in my net tomorrow morning." The fisherman set his net right and caught a very big fish in the morning and handed it over to the poor man. The poor man thought of cooking that, and so he took a big knife and cut it into 2 pieces. Suddenly, he found a very big diamond in the belly of the fish. He took it in his hand and was watching it very carefully. Right at that moment, a jeweler's wife, who was his neighbor, came to take a little fire from him. She saw the diamond and informed her husband about it. The jeweler came to the poor man's house and asked him to sell the diamond. The poor man asked 1 lakh gold coins for the diamond. The jeweler estimated the price of the gem to be 50 lakhs, so he quickly gave that 1 lakh and took the diamond from the poor man. The poor man built a fine house and his business also prospered. The king and his minister visited the poor man's house again. They found a fine house in place of a hut. They found the poor man sitting on a sofa. As soon as he saw the king and his minister, he greeted them and requested them to dine with him in his house that day. Both the king and the minister agreed. He gave a grand lunch to them. After that, all of them were sitting in the lawn and were discussing things. And at that time, the poor man's son was troubling him for getting the kite which had got stuck in a tree. The poor man called a servant and asked him to climb the tree and get the kite. And the coachman who had brought the king and his minister there came and told the king that the bullocks were very hungry and that he should give them some husk. The king asked the poor man for husk. The poor man sent another servant to the market to bring husk. Now the servant who climbed the tree for taking the kite down bought a dirty cloth bundle which had got entangled with the kite. And at that very time, the servant who had gone to bring husk from the market bought 1 potful of husk. The poor man was surprised to see all this. He quickly opened the bundle and told the king that he had spent 10 rupees and the remaining 490 rupees were there in that bundle which he had found entangled with his son's kite. He also said that the pot belonged to him and that the 500 rupees which the king had given to him the second time were also there. The king was very happy. From that day onwards, the king believed that luck also should favor a person's fortune and everything cannot be done by just one's effort. Thank you.